Comedian Sean Boyd from Just Therapy, the podcast. I got to talk to you about Detroit Auto Parts. They're the official parts store of Redline Radio. They have two convenient locations, one on the east side. You can call 216-531-7373, or the west side, 216-398-7373. Don't forget to mention Redline Radio and you receive 10% off your purchase. Make sure you hit up Detroit Auto Parts. Check them out. Comedian Sean Boyd from Just Therapy. I got to talk to you about something important. Growing Wings Adult Services. You know, they're actually the official sponsor of the new state-of-the-art Studio 2 for Redline Radio LLC. But Growing Wings Adult Services, they have been in business for 5 years. They have 5 years experience of working with adults with disabilities. If you need more information, you got to call my girl Lisa. Call her at 234-334-7547. Don't forget Growing Wings Adult Services, and make sure you ask for Lisa.
What's going on, everybody? It is Timbuktu from Timbuk Tuesday. And you know, I really hate doing home improvement, but I love the way it looks. So what I do is I call Wiggins Construction and Home Improvement. They fix bathrooms, windows, kitchens, sliding doors, and much more. Give Will a call today at 440-731-7654 and tell him Redline sent you. He'll get your house looking right in no time.
This is really gross, but dirty trash cans can pose a serious health risk to you and your family. The pungent smell can attract rats and flies, not to mention maggots, both of which can contain dangerous diseases transferable to humans. Your dirty trash can is susceptible to harboring dangerous bacteria. Contact Brandon at Fitz Trash Bin Cleaning today at 440-752-1533 or find them on Facebook. Veteran owned and operated and eco-friendly. Again, call Brandon at 440-752-1533.
Warning. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those solely of the creator. They are not the opinions of Redline Radio LLC or its owners. Parental discretion is strongly advised.
MICAH Beats activated.
Welcome to Just Therapy, where we talk about life with a comedy twist. With your hosts, comedian Sean Boyd, Antonio Ferguson, and Miss KT. We talk about a whole bunch of shit from politics to people actually taking shits. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the therapy session. Man, this be dope. Make a motherfucker want to rap. I can't rap, man. Hold on, here we go. I can't rap. I really can't. But come sit down on the couch with us. Man, I can't rap. Come to the couch. Enjoy the show. Let's go. Oh, we up. Just another day on the couch, talking about all the problems of today. Welcome back to another episode of Just Therapy. I am your host, comedian Sean Boyd, and it's a beautiful Monday evening, and I'm at the table. It's coming. We on one today. Let's go. Glad to be back after the holiday day off. Last week we wasn't here. If you didn't notice, you probably did. We took the day off for Labor Day. That's what it was. I was going to say Memorial Day, but it was Labor Day. Hey. But we are back in the building. Miss KT will be on shortly today, I think. But Timbuktu is on the ones and twos as always. Timmy, what's good, baby?
Not much, man. Just chilling. Had a nice little 4-day weekend. I took off. I said, God damn it, job, I ain't coming in today. And they was like, all right.
Oh, today? Oh, you took today off.
I took Friday off and today off. I mean, I put PTO in, so they knew, I wasn't gonna be there.
Oh, okay.
But
all right.
yeah, it was amazing. This felt like the longest weekend, and I'm happy.
Well, I mean, you have 4 days, so that is a long ass fucking weekend. Yes,
Yeah, it was
that's
great.
a long weekend. That sounds very positive. Yeah. Very soothing.
I was still working, so I can't really say.
You were still working here?
Here
Oh.
and Rascal House.
Boo. Miss KT in the chat talking about, hey, y'all. She'll be here shortly. She might not have her camera on though. But we do have a special guest in the building, and I'm excited. I'm always excited. Oh, big shout out to our guest that we had last time, 2 weeks ago, Jenny Boyer. Genevieve. Very interesting conversation with her. Big shout out to her. But we do have a guest this week, and I am interested. I'm excited. This is a good friend of mine. I've been knowing him since I started comedy, which was a long time ago. Not long, but long enough, motherfucker. 13 years ago. Comedian, author, Michael Gershe in the building. What's going on, Big Mike?
Hey, man, thanks for having me. Yeah, you're 13. I think I'm 27 years in.
Oh, shit.
So I'm a little bit older, just a little bit older. So, no, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
27. I did not know that.
I started
27.
in 95.
And now, oh, yeah, 27.
Yeah, 27.
Okay.
I was still in grad school when I started.
Shit.
Yeah.
Did you finish grad school?
I did.
Oh, there you go. Well, good thing.
And then I told my dad, I was like, I'm going to go into comedy next. Not the best financial plan in the whole entire world, but
Hey, I just finished grad school, but I want to be a comedian.
yeah. So I told him by phone. I didn't tell him when he was at graduation. Otherwise, I
Oh,
don't
my
think I would be
gosh.
alive
No,
if
yeah,
I
you
did
probably-
that.
you definitely would have got your ass beat.
Yeah.
Definitely, especially if he helped pay for grad school. Did he help pay for grad school?
No.
Oh, well, he couldn't be pissed then.
Yeah, right? Well, you know,
Yeah, you can't
choices.
be that pissed. That's funny.
That's true. He couldn't.
Right.
But he was good. He always wanted me to do what I wanted to do. So at least I had that type of support.
Well, that's good. At least he supported you that way. I see Neil Griffin in the building. What's going on with you, Neil? He said, LOL, bad idea. Oh, man. We're going to do the show a little different. We all usually get straight into the guest, but we go do it a little different because our guest is, like I said, is very interesting. I've been looking forward to this. We're going to dive deep in this book. But first, before we do that, Leah T, what's going on? Thanks for checking in with us on YouTube. Is that YouTube? Is that a YouTube thing? Yeah. Okay, on YouTube. Thank you. But before we do that, we're gonna dive into the beginning of the show with like a recap and all that good shit. But before I do that, I want to give a big shout out, happy birthday to my cousin Nettie. Yeah, she just had her birthday Saturday, I think it was Saturday or yesterday. I can't remember, but when I seen it, I texted her and put it on Facebook. So I didn't just put it on Facebook since I actually talked to her. You know what I'm saying? But happy birthday, and I gotta give a RIP to not who you think I am, but comedian David A. Arnold. Definitely gotta send a RIP and send in prayers and healing energy to his family. He was originally from Cleveland. He was in the business for about 32 years.
Wow. And
finally kind of got his big break here recently. He had his second Netflix special that came out here recently, and he did another Netflix special right before that. So like the last 1 or 2 years is when he kind of got his break and got his Netflix special, and he died in his sleep, 54. Age 54, passed away.
I just read about that. Right. Yeah.
David A. Arnold from Cleveland. I never met him, unfortunately, but I did like his story because on his last Netflix special, before that even came out, he was on a podcast I listened to, Comedy Gold Mines with Kevin Hart.
Okay.
And they, of course, promoted that Netflix special, but just to hear his story on there and just to hear his background and how he got started and how he just kept grinding and grinding and grinding. And then watching his special, what I liked about it the most was he shot both of them in Cleveland. That's not what I liked about it the most. It's just his conviction to the game of comedy. And then seeing his background, him talking about his wife, him talking about his 2 daughters, and then they, interviewed them as well in the Netflix special, and then his mom, and then his stepdad. Just that interaction and that interview, it was good. It was like heartfelt, you know what I'm saying? And then watching the stand-up, it was like, damn, he is pretty funny. So definitely the Comedy Game lost a good OG in the game and a good dude in the game. So definitely sending prayers and healing energy out to his family, definitely, and all his friends and everything like that. Neil said World Series of Comedy is starting. Oh, okay. I'm watching you because we were one of the coolest, funniest people there last year. Oh, thank you, sir. Appreciate you, Neil. Yeah, I met him at the World Series of Comedy last year in Vegas. And very good dude. And KT, bring her in. KT is in the building. She's only going to do audio only, which is cool.
What's up, SB?
What up? What up? Was just saying RIP to David A. Arnold, comedian out of Cleveland. Just had his second Netflix special here a couple months ago, just debuted. So was just talking about that before we got into the recap. Yeah, so I mean, we've been gone for a little bit. I mean, like 2 weeks, but the weekend, the Labor Day weekend was pretty cool. I needed a getaway, and I went up to Detroit to play in a Miss tournament, a softball tournament, which was like an alternative tournament. I used the quotation marks because, it was some teams up there stacking their team. It wasn't playing by the original rules of Miss, but it didn't matter. We had a blast, had a good time. We started in the lowest division, went 3-0, then got bumped up to the middle division, and then beat the team there. And then we had to play the game for the king seat, lost to a team that literally sandbagged that Saturday because they were good as fuck. And we took literally a co-ed team, like 6 girls, 6 guys, and we batted 12 and played our ass off. This team had 3 girls, only had 3 girls. None of their guys was alternative, which, if you go have mostly men, but that's besides the point. We beat an all men's team that we know from Cleveland, so that was cool. So, but we had a blast. We ended up coming in second overall, but we lost to them in the king seat game, so we would have had to double dip them. And even if we had beat them once, I don't think we could have beat them twice. Like, they were that fucking good. But really? Like I said, we had a good time, a lot of laughs, a lot of memories, because that's all we got now, man. So that was my Labor Day. This weekend was super chill, super low key with Lil Mama, man. We just watched some movies, Trolls, Moana, and jumped on the trampoline, man. Just chill. That was it. That was.
Did you jump while you were watching the movies too?
No.
Oh.
And I actually didn't jump. My knee been hurting, so I sit there and play with her while she jumped. And we got a big beach ball, and then I brought back a little beach ball from the Miss tournament. Right. And then it's got like a basketball hoop on there, so I'll be shooting on that shit sitting down. But so we play catch with the beach ball, and she run back and forth and try to make me hit her. And she'd be like, "Oh, you missed," and she cracks me up because she'd be laughing when I hit her in the head with that beach ball. Because I'll be tagging her ass like, "Wow," and she just crack up laughing. So that was my weekend. Miss KT, how the fuck are you? How are you doing?
I am doing great in spirit, but my body is so tired. Today was my first day back to work after surgery.
How'd it go?
You know how you be exhausted, but don't even know you exhausted. So I took a couple Tylenol because I had a headache. Because unfortunately, a headache is, one of the side effects of this sinus surgery. And next thing I know, I was out, and then I woke up like, oh shoot, the podcast about to start.
That inner clock was like, wake your ass up.
Right on time though, for real. It was like 6:49. Like, hey, What you doing? Don't you got something to do?
That's what's up. How was the first day back at school? So did you miss a whole week?
I missed 2 whole weeks. Well, really, I missed 3 whole weeks. A week of professional development and then 2 weeks of school with the kids. So it was a little awkward because they have a couple procedures and things in place that I don't do, but it was really easy. Today was just a letting them get to know me kind of day and me getting to know them kind of day, which is always nice. And I teach 8th graders, so I didn't teach these kids before, but they've seen me, so they know me well enough to know just be
not
cool,
fuck with you.
So.
Yeah, okay. So it was basically like, all right, I'm your teacher. I'll beat your ass. I'll fuck a kid up. What's your name? What's your name? Okay. What's your name? All right, good.
Today wasn't even like that, except for in one situation. I told a girl, like, hey, normally I would snatch a kid up for that, but I'm a little tired and weak, so I'm gonna let you have that one today. Just don't try it in the future. Because my normal me don't let kids slide with stuff like that.
Right, exactly. That's
and I said, you must be new. I said, you didn't go here last year, did you? She said no. I said, it's okay. We're gonna get you together.
I'm gonna let you slide on this one, but next one, I'm yes.
Yeah, don't think it's gonna be a slide all the time. I don't do that. I don't got no slides in me like that.
That's hilarious. Say the only slide you got is the one on your feet.
Right. It was really nice. Kids make you feel welcome and loved, and they all like, oh my gosh, we missed you. We couldn't wait to see you. All of that stuff. So it was good.
Yeah, because a lot of the kids already know you.
Yeah, because they were in 7th grade last year, so a lot of them was looking forward to having me and was looking for, so they were excited for me to be back.
That's what's up.
We're excited to have you back, Miss KT.
Well, thank you, Tim. I appreciate it.
I'm not gonna say nothing to that. I'm gonna let it slide. I'm gonna let it slide.
You got one slide in you today?
Yeah, I mean, I got my slides on, so
So we get one more then.
Yeah, hey, you got it.
And he definitely got on 2, so.
Oh shit! What about the holiday weekend? You want to talk about that, or you just want to keep it moving?
I didn't do anything at all. I couldn't hardly move. I've been down for a long, so not a lot going on. I do want to shout out my son, Darian, aka Baby.
Hey,
they are getting smacked in football, but he has had 15 tackles so far this season.
Out of 2 games, too. That's dope.
Yeah,
he doing his job, but they getting their ass beat. Well, no,
I mean,
they won the first game.
Yeah, they won the first one.
Yeah, and then they lost.
They just lost to, MSU 52-0. So it just was, and it's not like it wasn't expected, but it still hurt.
Oh, it definitely hurt. It was expected. I mean, it's a Big Ten school, so Big Ten schools should definitely smack a MAC school. But I thought they would at least score, but then the quarterback got hurt. So I was like, eh.
Yeah, he got hurt early. And, our offense is still struggling, gelling anyway. So it was a lot.
But Baby definitely looked good out there. I watched the game, but then I had to turn it off. They was getting their ass beat. I was like, oh, I can't even stomach it no more. So
yeah, but I watched to the end of the 3rd quarter, and because I feel like a mother's love had to carry me through that far, but that's all I had. A mother's love only goes so far. But I was really upset because I wanted to go to the game. I knew I was too tired and didn't have it in me, and I didn't want to make that drive by myself.
Right.
And so I just was like, you don't need to go. And then,
So I seen your post. And then that's when I text you and was like, hey, what number is Baby? Because I'm about to watch the game. So, but yeah, so that was that just past weekend or the weekend?
Yeah, that was Saturday.
Yeah, that was Saturday.
Yeah.
And I wasn't about to drive to Michigan State, so I wasn't volunteering myself. So, I mean, I'm not taking little mama all the way up there. And then she'd be like, I'm ready to go, Daddy.
That's how kids be too.
Right. Should have been ready to go real fast. So I was like, yeah, nah, maybe next time. Yep. So, Gersh, how was your weekend, man?
Weekend was good, man. I had talk about football. I'm from Miami, Florida, so my Hurricanes won and my Dolphins won. I saw your Browns won. Weekend was good, man.
Barely.
It was relaxing. Look, it's football season now, so it's nice to sit back and to watch some games finally.
Yeah.
and do that and enjoy some outdoor weather before the games, and then
There you go.
and then do it. But yeah, it's pretty relaxing, and football season's back. You got 17 weeks of swearing at the TV. It's kind of nice.
Shit, you
You
ain't
know,
lying.
so it's
17
all right.
weeks now, ain't it?
Yeah, 17,
Yeah, he
right?
said
Yeah.
17.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I was definitely cussing the TV out yesterday. Yeah, definitely. And then when they made the field goal, I was already standing and I was like, motherfucker, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so
Mondays are nice for the team wins,
hell yeah.
which hasn't happened for the Browns, 17 years?
As far as winning an opening game away, yes.
Yeah.
It's been that long. I figured out a way not to let it ruin my Sundays anymore, so I'm good.
That's all right.
I would have been pissed, and it's funny because I was like, this one might ruin my Sunday if they lose this one just because of the bitch ass quarterback that was on the other team. So, but they won.
Like everybody had a just beat Baker
Yeah,
type of mentality. Like
pretty much. Yeah. Hey, we do that now. We done. We good.
Now you
season was a success. Now everybody's happy.
lose the rest now. Is that what you want?
No, hell no. I don't want that because I mean we got some key components and we got a good team. So it's like, all right, but we just had to win that game. It was a game that had to win. And then I mean we can beat Pittsburgh twice. I mean, they got a shitty team now. So yeah, we good. We'll be all right. All right, let's keep it moving. One childhood memory. The childhood memory I'm gonna bring up is how active I was as a kid playing all the sports. But one memory that stuck out to me here the other day I was thinking about was my baseball time. I played a lot of baseball, but I'll give y'all one quick one. This is when I made the traveling team for, I want to say 14 and up, 14, 15, I think. I don't remember. But I was one of the starters. I played third base and was like a backup pitcher and everything. And third base is the hot spot, like hot corner, right? And we were playing an out-of-town team at a neutral facility, one of ours. And the game was close as shit. We was like winning, then like the pitcher was giving up shit. But I was shutting down third. I ended up batting, like I think I went 3 for 4 in that game. So I had a great all-around game. But it was a play, I think that it was bases loaded. Yeah, it was bases loaded. It was bases loaded, and they already said make sure you throw it home to get the home, to get the out at home. But me being me, because we only had like one out, it was more like be realistic. The ball came to me hot as shit on a grounder, so I caught it, stepped on third, threw home, and hit the dude. So he ended up scoring, and we lost because of that.
Where did you hit him?
I think I hit him in like the back of the neck area.
Jeez.
Like it was a good throw, but he was standing up and didn't slide, which he should have slid. If he would have slid, he would have been out.
Right.
But he stood up, so I hit him like in the back shoulder blade area, and we ended up losing the game because instead of just throwing home first, because the angle I had, if I'd have just caught it, throw it home, then the catcher could have just stepped on the plate and then threw it somewhere else. But I'm like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, your instinct as a baseball player, you go for the double play. I'm close enough to the bag where I can get it, hit the bag, that's one out, throw the ball home. All he got to do is tag him, but I hit him because it was a good throw, and we lost. And I was so mad because I was so competitive. I started crying because we lost. Yeah.
That would do it.
Yeah, I was pissed.
Look, there was no participation trophies back then, right? It was win or nothing, man.
No, it was win or nothing. It was definitely
you
win
got
or
no
nothing.
ice cream, no sprinkles.
You might have got a second place trophy, but it was you didn't want the second place trophy because you made it that far. But one of the coaches, Mr. Dodale, I remember him taking me to the side. He was like, look, I know what we said to do, and you did the right play, but don't cry about it. I'm like, dude, I'm pissed. I fucked up the game. I lost. And he was like, but you can't let him see you cry. And I'm like, man, fuck that. I'm pissed. Like,
It's emotional.
right. So that is my one childhood memory for this week. Miss KT, you want to give us a childhood memory?
First of all, I just want to say that you have such an immaculate memory. I was thinking about this last week. Like, we've been doing this show for over a year. Like, so that means you've shared over 50 childhood memories. Like, how many memories of childhood do you expect somebody to have?
I got a lot. Hey, you can
Listen, you be going into such detail, and I'll be struggling. Like, did I already tell this? I don't remember. Like it's not a fun thing for me.
And you ain't been listening to the beginning either. That's the funny part. And yeah, I done shared a lot of childhood memories.
Yes, like you have so many memories in detail.
All right, just give me a good memory. Fuck it.
Yeah, so I don't know if I shared this or not, but I was talking about this on Facebook. So I'm gonna share it again or for the first time. Who knows? I can't keep up. But when I was like 12 or 13, so we lived in a project, so we always went places in groups. And so it's probably a group of about 8 to 10 of us, and we're walking from like a park or another neighborhood, or I don't know. And we see the Nichols Bakery. And by we, I mean me, right? And I see that there's a window open.
Oh, yeah.
And so I whisper to a friend, like, hey, that window's open at the bakery. So I knew what this meant, right? Like I knew this meant we were going to break into the bakery. Right?
Break in or just go in the open window? And
so go in the open window.
There you go.
So at my assumption, right? Because I come from a very strict, don't play no games mom, but also a very, like realistic, I can get away with a little bit of stuff type of background because I'm a pretty smart, pretty good kid. Yeah. But I'm a little naive about a lot of stuff. So I thought, yes, climb in the window, steal a few bakery snacks, go on about our day, right? That is not what happened. It ended up being like a full breaking and entering that I hope there's no I hope statute of limitations is up. I mean, these people went into the back office. They took computers. It was like all kind of like electronics in there. Like it was so much stuff. And now I'm like, I don't even want these snacks. So I dropped my stuff because I don't even want to be a part of this. Like, what is y'all doing?
Oh, shit. You got to take the snacks you put your fingerprints on already, though.
No. I threw them like we were outside because I took off running before everybody else. And I see them grab, like, I'm like, I can't be a part of this. This is ridiculous. And so I started like dropping snacks, and it was just the weirdest thing. And then we all went to a friend's house whose mom wasn't home. And we ended up like having a snack war in the basement. And it was like cream puff stuff thrown against the wall. Like it was like the worst thing imaginable. And I can't believe, I feel like I started it all because my nosy self seen that the window was open.
Yeah. So what about when the kid's mom came home?
I don't know. I don't know if I blocked it out. I don't remember what happened. All I know is I don't remember ever going to that friend's house again. I've never seen the basement. I've never had to clean it up. I don't know what, like, I don't know.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, was the police looking for us? Was this like an all and out? Like, I don't know. I just feel like it ruined my life and I made such a horrible choice. And I'm so glad it didn't come down on me how it could have. Because, like, what if I got like a breaking and entering charge or something stupid at 12 for being a knucklehead,
Yep. That's hilarious. The funny part about that whole story is, my memory's good. So that's why I was like, what the parents say when they came home.
I mean, I would assume, they would have wanted to kill somebody. I don't know. I don't remember none of the details after that. Huh?
I said, that's why you ain't ever go back over there, because when the mom came home.
I mean, most moms would have beat you and made you clean up. Like, get this off my walls, but I don't know. I don't remember none of that.
Oh, shit. That's hilarious. Gershe, give me a childhood memory, brother.
I remember one summer I was playing baseball and I was about to score and some asshole hit me in the back with a baseball.
It landed right on your neck, didn't it?
Right in the small of the back. Our team won, but I still have a bruise and nightmares about that shit.
I love it.
we'll go back to football. In 1984, my swim team was working in the Orange Bowl because we were trying to pay for a trip to go to Europe. It was a fundraiser, and it was the second year of Dan Marino. So we worked in the concession stands, which was nasty and gross. You go in there, there's rats in the back. It's just nasty mud. The Orange Bowl's classic.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know they had rats in that bitch.
Oh yeah, my dad would you pull out the grill in the back to see the rat traps and stuff, make sure there's nothing in there.
Oh fuck.
It was just gross. I mean, you would have to take like 8 showers after you're done working for a day.
Wow.
And I was 13, I was like 14 years old, doing that. Great memories, because after the games, we could go and see the games and so forth. But of course, I'm working the cash register up front, and and I was the only the person who knew how to change the CO2 right in the middle of halftime. And the CO2 thing weighed more than I did, and they're going to choose me to do it. was part of it, but also after the game, you could go down and wait for the players to come out. And Dan Marino came out, and I'm holding his Miller Lite beer as a 14-year-old as he's signing autographs for everyone else. And
he gave you his beer to hold.
Yeah.
Shit.
He gave me his Miller Lite beer to hold.
Yeah.
Not like the Joe Theismann commercial over here, kid, hold my Coke.
Right.
He gave me his beer to hold on to.
Here, hold my beer, fucker.
And he gave me his tape that he wore and stuff. But it was just really cool to be hanging out with the Dolphins afterwards and looking up to him, for that, because he was such an icon. So, it was just there are some team, there's lots of childhood memories of that, of swimming, as we talked about beforehand. We were both swimmers. But that's just a really cool part to be part of that history of working the Orange Bowl, seeing some awesome games, but then having those autographs from your favorite players as a kid.
So you got a Dan Marino autograph?
I do. I have the 1984 yearbook signed by a whole bunch of players, and Marino's one of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
One of the best Miami Dolphin quarterback, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
If not the best, probably the best quarterback to never win a ring.
Wow.
Right? Is always what they say.
That's a dope memory. That's a dope memory.
It was fun.
You made me think of something.
They would go. They also send me around the stadium with like $400 worth of singles just to go get change. And I'm walking back with the change bags. I'm like, I'm a little kid.
Yeah.
I'm going to get mugged. It never happened. Nothing like that. No one worried about my safety or nothing. They just,
wow.
Who could we send? Who's the smallest idiot that could go over across the stadium and walk back?
Not the smallest idiot.
Yeah, let's pick Michael. That's good.
That's hilarious.
But it was just my childhood revolves around swimming. A lot of time in the water. But that was, as we were talking about football and swimming, that Marino one sticks out because I never forgot about that moment.
Nice. That's what's up. All right. And as always, we like to give flowers to people while they're still here instead of being conditioned like we so much are to give flowers to people while they're dead and gone. We like to give flowers to people while they're here so they can smell the roses. Miss KT, you got who you want to give flowers to? Or you want me to
go? I'll go. I didn't tag him yet, but
okay.
So I am going to give my flowers to Ashley T. While I was down and out and wasn't feeling good, she was very encouraging. She was checking on me, making sure, I was doing okay. And then she sent me some flowers to brighten my day. And so I really appreciated that because recovering is very difficult and it's boring. And, I don't want too many people over because, I don't want any germs and got to Lysol disinfect every time the door opens. Right. And my nose was so sensitive and I was in so much, it just was so much. But I definitely appreciated her sending me flowers and always checking on me and praying for me and making sure I'm okay. So Ashley T, you're getting your flowers today.
Hey, that's what's up. Getting your flowers. Gershe, you want to give some flowers out?
Sure do. So the woman that raised me, we talked about this in the book a little bit later on in the story. She raised me and my brother as her own flesh and blood. She'll be 91 on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
So she gets some birthday flowers coming on up.
Hey.
Her name is Dolly. Yep.
Okay. Just Dolly. That's it.
Oh, Dolly Morse.
Oh, okay.
No, there's no need for last name. You know,
okay. I mean,
when I was
she's
writing
not watching, so
yeah. When I was writing the book, she's like, "Leave my name out of it." I'm like, what? Do I still embarrass you for crying out loud? So, yeah, she'll be a young 91 years old on Saturday.
Nice. That's what's up. Well, happy birthday, and you getting your flowers. Yeah. My flowers this week is going to go to our guest, Michael Gershe. Reason I'm giving you your flowers is I can't remember if it was after my dad or my mom. I can't remember because like I wasn't going to the funny stop. I want to say it was after my mom, and then I showed up at the funny stop, and then you happened to be there, and you went out of your way to have a conversation with me about losing parents and stuff like that, and the encouraging words you gave me was like so dope and so needed at the time. That was just something that really, really touched me. I don't even know if you know, but it really touched me. And you was like, I mean, it's gonna be hard. I can't say it's gonna get easier, but it's definitely gonna be hard, but you'll get through it. Just keep pushing and keep remembering the good memories. And that stuck with me. And so when people lose people, I always say, hey, I can't sit here and lie and say it's gonna get easier because it's not. It's just gonna get more manageable. So I definitely appreciate the words, the kind words you gave me on that day, man, because I really needed that shit. So you getting your flowers today,
All
Mr.
right.
Gershe.
Thank you very much. Thanks, man.
What's up, Rose? Checking in. She said, very kind, Mike. Give her 91 roses. All right. And this is the time I'm excited about. We're going to get into our guests since we got past our most of our stuff that we usually do after the guests. So, Mike, you're a comedian and an author. You spoke earlier about how long you've been doing comedy, but tell everybody again, how long you been in comedy again?
I've been in comedy since January 20th, 1995.
95.
February.
Okay.
February. Yeah. I started in grad school. Well, the very first time I ever did it, I was still in high school in Miami.
Okay.
I did magic growing up, and I always knew I wanted to be a comedian. It was just one of the things I was really good at. And humor played a huge part of my life, probably much like yours as a kid. And I was in class with Lucy Beebe, who books the comedians. And I go, I have to talk to you. And after class, I go, this is what I want to do. So she hooked me up with the 5-minute, open mic night that they did on Mondays back then, the old hilarities.
Okay.
And then it was February 20th, 1995. I still have the cassette tape, of it. I haven't listened to it.
Okay.
I know there's a bunch of fart jokes on there, and then I realized everyone did fart jokes. So I went, well, I can't do that shit anymore. And then I got a call back. I won that night, whatever it was. And then the second time I had to do it, I had a group project to do. And my group was supposed to go last.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have missed my spot. And I talked to the professor. I go, hey, I have a 5-minute stand-up thing to do at the club. Can our group go first?
Mm-hmm.
So I could head out there. He goes, yeah, sure. So that tells you where my priority was in my last semester in grad school.
Wow.
I was not focused in grad school. I was focused on pursuing that dream. And then 6 months later, I was working with L.A. Hardy and
6
Milo.
months later?
6 months later, I was emceeing at the club.
Yeah.
With Milo Tremblay and
L.A. Hardy.
That's
my guy right there, man. That man just one of my first paid hosting gigs was for L.A. Hardy at Toledo at Comedy Connection.
Oh yeah.
Man,
LA's great, man.
Good, man. That's a good dude. Me and him still keep in contact to this day. Real good dude. Funny as shit too.
Yeah, he would take me on the road sometimes to open for him, and he's down in Florida now, and still performing a lot, man. He's awesome.
Yeah, living the dream.
So that's when I started to do it. Yeah.
Okay. What made you get into comedy though?
It was just a passion, something I always wanted to do as a kid. That was it. I mean, my dreams as a kid was be Spider-Man, James Bond, a member of KISS, or a comedian. And that was about it, And
so you went with the last one instead.
I went with the last one. Yeah. Spider-Man, it was the science wasn't ready for Spider-Man. And Gene and Paul weren't calling me for a member of Kiss either.
Oh shit!
And I wasn't British, so I couldn't be James Bond. So it was really process of elimination.
That's hilarious.
But growing up and you watch, it was all those icons, Bill Cosby, Richard Pryor, Williams, Seinfeld, early days, and I always could do that. And as a kid, when I was doing magic, it was comedy magic. Harry Anderson, when I got to work with him years later, it was awesome. And it was just something, you always wanted to do. And as we tell people that want to get into comedy, just do it once. You don't have to keep doing it. But I don't want to be my deathbed and go, man, I wish I did comedy.
Right.
And then
I don't think I've ever told anybody to just do it once.
Yeah.
I just say, just get on stage, just try it.
Yeah, just do it. I mean, even if it's one time, at least you can say you did it, right?
Yeah,
rather than, because we all meet people who go, my friends tell me I'm funny, I could do it. All right.
Get on stage.
It's a little bit different. Get on stage and let's do it.
Yeah.
And but it was just a drug. And you keep at it, and I love the creative process of doing it. Like magic, you can go to the magic store, buy the trick, and do it.
Right.
But comedy, it's your own material. Whether it works or not.
Yep.
But when it works, man, there's nothing better in the world.
Nothing better
than that.
Yeah, you speak of drug, because that was definitely my drug of choice. Because when I started comedy, I was still smoking weed, but I would always post on Facebook, I'm about to go do drugs. And I remember somebody chimed in and was like, why are you promoting drugs on Facebook? And then before I can even say anything, somebody else was like, if you pay attention to his post, he's talking about doing comedy. That's his drug of choice. Like, stop being so fucking asinine and stupid and pay attention if you go chime in on any of his posts. But that's definitely my drug of choice, and I still love it. And it's nothing like that high you can get on that stage, man.
Yeah, that's right. The worst is when a bomb jokes, when a joke bombs, and only people laughing at your friends with the other comedians in the back of the room.
Right.
Because we've all been there.
Yeah.
And then that walk off stage and around, that's the worst feeling. And then we're dumb enough to go, let's go do it again.
Right.
You know? But it's, you have to have that short-term memory and kind of go, I could do better. And but yeah, man, it's and also when someone comes up to you after a show and goes, thank you for making me laugh, I really needed to hear that. It's nice to get paid for it, but when you hear that, it's like,
it's definitely gratifying.
That's awesome.
Yes, definitely, because you can change somebody's whole day,
right, and
just make them forget about what they're going through in that moment or that day, and just make them laugh. Because I mean, that's what it's about, man. I definitely love that.
And it's hard for us because, if we go through grief, we have to forget what's happening to us as we walk in.
Yeah.
Right. And we have to make the audience forget what's going on in the outside world as entertainers.
Right.
And if we do a good enough job, then we get comments like that afterwards. And it's pretty cool. There's nothing else like it in the world.
Okay. So have you done a lot of like road gigs? Did you like hit the road and do a lot of that, or?
Used to when I was a little bit younger. Yeah. I mean, you do the weekend gigs, the Friday, Saturdays, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, or, you work locally too.
Yeah.
And then I realized, I had student loans to pay back and I needed a job in healthcare. And, the lifestyle didn't always agree with me, driving all that time and getting shafted by people not getting paid. And, so those negatives I didn't like. And then I got a job, Cleveland State. And I realized I could work 8 to 5 and still do night gigs on Fridays and Saturdays, if I had to. So that was still kind of nice.
There you go.
To do. But yeah, I had a lot of debt, and the comedy wasn't going to get me out of it.
Definitely not.
It puts you in it, but it doesn't get you out of it.
Definitely. Comedy is definitely not going to get you out of debt. Definitely. Miss KT, you got any questions about his comedy career? She might have went to the bathroom. Questions, sticking with comedy, because like I said, we're going to get into the book you wrote, but what do you think about comedy now and present day? Like, what do you think about it?
It's tough, man. I mean, people get offended so easily over the littlest things that we used to be able to talk about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
Now you can't do it. Everyone's on the phone recording or the post stuff, and then it's so hard. I might have to go back to telling fart jokes. Soon. I mean, the weeks that I work, I like to scan the news. I'm a news junkie when it comes to that, try to take topical things, but it's hard to do that because now we're so separated and you can't one side versus the other side, and you poke fun of it or whatever else. People, it's outrageous. So now I just try to keep something that's neutral. That maybe it's going to happen to me, or a funny story that all sides you get. But yeah, it's so polarizing. When you think of something funny, you go, man, can I even do that anymore?
Right.
And you go, no, I can't do that shit. So you put it aside, even though you know it's funny. You go, man, I just don't want to, pitchforks after a show coming after me.
Right.
So I did something.
That's true.
So
that is true.
It's weird because you write to make yourself laugh first.
Right.
And now you have to go, is it going to be too offensive to someone in the audience? You know, and then it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And that sucks because you think about our heroes like Pryor or Carlin.
Yep. And Pryor,
Pryor and all those guys, before us, and never had to worry about that. So much like now.
Right. Yeah. So what do you think about the comedians that are making like the videos, like the big name off of like TikTok and YouTube? Like they're not really comedians, but turn into comedians. What do you think about that?
Yeah, now it's all about likes and followers and all that stuff. And you can make someone laugh for a video. You can redo a video right over and over again, and then post it and edit it. But can you be funny on stage in front of 200 strangers?
Right.
Some half drunk, and whatever else. So I think it's a different type of comedy. I don't think it's stand up, but I think it's like it's like a sitcom in a way after TikTok. I don't get TikTok so much. I'm a little bit older. I'm not doing that shit. YouTube's it. I got Facebook. I don't even use Twitter.
Right.
When I started to use Twitter, I feel like my father trying to figure out the VCR clock. I'm like, how the hell do you do this? And I'm like, I don't know. So I'll just let it flash 12. And then TikTok, it's just too much. I don't have that type of time of the day. It's too hard to write jokes.
Right.
You want to do. I'm not doing videos and stuff. So I think it's a different brand of comedy.
Okay.
But I also know there's TikTok people that get hired to do stand up.
Yeah.
And then people come just to see the videos. I'm not paying money to watch something I could do on free at a club.
Yeah.
That's dumb. I want to go be entertained live and hear those type of things. So, and then I also heard from other friends who have worked with those TikTokers and how bad they are on stage.
Yeah.
So I think that ruins it for the audience. And I think it cheapens what we do as comedians.
Right.
We work our asses off trying to write a joke that's going to be funny. And these people will show in their videos that they may have worked on for like 3 days, for a 10-second spot. So,
True.
I'm a little bit more old school. I get it, but that part's just not for me.
Yeah, got you.
To do.
So what is your take? Let me because this was a hot topic in the comedy scene. What is your take on T.I. doing comedy now?
If he's funny, great. Just like who was doing it? The wrestler. I don't see the wrestling stuff up here. Mankind.
Okay.
He was doing comedy for a while.
Okay.
And I go, if anyone's funny and it works, fantastic. That's all it needs, man.
Right.
I know he has a name behind him.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're good,
go ahead.
Keep doing it. Sure.
Yeah, because it was a lot of comedians that was like, oh well, he got the name from rapping and now he's doing big venues and I've been in the game for such and such long and blah blah blah. I mean, if he is afforded that venue, I mean, like people know, the crowd will let him know,
right? Yeah, but that's like the same philosophy. Like Ice-T got the gig on Law and Order because he was a rapper, but he's great in that.
Well, he was an actor too, though.
Right? Yeah,
he did New Jack City, and he was good in that. But then when he got to Law and Order, I mean, he did what he had to do.
Yeah,
So
I mean, the only rapper who couldn't really do anything was Vanilla Ice, not even rap. So we'll just leave him out of the equation altogether. But LL Cool J, the same thing. Actor, transition. Marky Mark, he transitioned pretty well,
didn't he?
Right?
Yeah. Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Don't nobody know him as Marky Mark anymore. They only know him as Mark Wahlberg. Shit.
Will Smith.
Yeah, well, Will Smith.
Right?
If he was popcorn rap, but it was still rap.
Did you read his biography?
I did not.
It's really good.
Okay.
Of course, I read it before the Oscars, but
good.
Yeah. But
that's probably why I won't read it now.
Yeah. But yeah, good for him, man. Look, if it changed into a different career for him, and he's and people are entertaining and he's funny, not go for it. Yeah.
But it's funny that you mentioned Will Smith, but like just hearing interviews with Jazzy Jeff and his interaction with Will Smith and him saying Will Smith said he wanted to be the biggest actor and how he turned himself in one of the biggest actors. I mean, you got to give him credit where credit's due. I mean, hell of an actor,
right?
You know, he had a moment of weakness, which I mean, the apology to me was fake, but I mean, it is what it is,
right.
You know. So I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, as a comedian, you know, you look at it two different ways. It was like I like both of them, and one's a good actor, the other one's a good actor, the one's a fucking hilarious comedian. I listen to the one's soft ass rap, but like you've always been soft. Like, why you try to be hard now? Just be yourself. Like,
yeah, and I think what he did in the present, I mean, you look in the past, you went, well, he was still pretty good in the past, you know, those type of things. Like, you know, the TV show, what was
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
The new one, I like the new spin they got on it.
Never saw the new one.
Oh my gosh, it's called Bel-Air.
Okay,
you definitely. I'm waiting on season 2. It was definitely because the first one was a comedy. This one's a drama.
That's what I heard. What streaming service is it on?
I don't know. I got fucking I got the Fire Stick. I think it's on is it Peacock? I don't.
It might be Peacock.
Yeah, it's Peacock.
I thought it was either Peacock or Paramount.
I got it on the Fire Stick, so whatever. So I can watch. You know, but it's definitely good. It is definitely good to see the characters in a different light as far as a drama and real life situations of today's world.
Right.
It's definitely good.
So there's no one doing the Carlton dance at all?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Nope, not at all. Nope. And Miss KT, you back? All right. So last comedy question for me.
I'm here, but I don't feel the best. So
okay. All right. No, you good. So my last comedy question before we get into being an author is give me your top 5 comedians dead or alive.
Dead or alive. Wow. Yep. Robin Williams.
Okay.
Does it have to be in any particular order?
No.
Okay.
No.
Robin Williams.
Okay.
Pryor, Carlin, Seinfeld.
Okay.
And I'll go with my buddy Greg Morton. You know,
nice.
I mean, we know a lot of guys.
Wrong button, Timmy, but it's all right. You caught it quick enough.
You know, I mean, we know a lot of guys that are hysterical that aren't like famous like that.
Yeah.
Right? And I probably could have named off a whole bunch more.
Yeah,
but
easy.
I'll go with those. Yeah,
that's a good top 5, man. That's nice. All right.
What about your top 5?
Oh, here we go. My top 5, or who inspired me the most when I started comedy: Pryor, Carlin, Red Fox, Robin Harris, and Bernie Mac.
Okay. That Bernie Mac show.
They're all dead and gone, but they all had the one thing in common. They never gave a fuck about the audience.
Right.
They did it for the love of the game.
Yeah.
So
when Bernie Mac died, that was a hard one.
Dude, I cried.
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna lie. I shed a tear when Bernie Mac passed away. And I think I just started comedy when he passed away too. And I was like, oh man, you know, so that
he was passing the torch.
Definitely hurt. That one definitely hurt. So
I guess Harry Anderson would have been the other one if I had a 6 because he inspired me a lot.
Right. Now, if we do top 5 alive, I mean that's different, you know.
Right.
Because for me, that would be top 5 alive. Woo! Oh man. Chappelle definitely be number 1. Chappelle will be number 1. I gotta throw. See, the crazy part about it is I think Tony Rock's better. It's funnier than Chris Rock.
Really?
Yeah, his brother.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'm partial because I met him actually, but I've seen his stand up, and he's fucking hilarious. But I mean, you gotta put Chris Rock in there.
Sure.
The only reason why I put Kevin Hart in the top 5 alive is because his work ethic.
Yeah.
Not because of his stand up.
I agree with you.
Because I don't I don't particularly like his stand up, but I gotta respect game where game, you know what I'm saying? I gotta respect that. You know what? I've never thought about this. Deion Cole, I had to put him there. That's 4. Because Deion Cole is fucking hilarious. And then a 5th one. Oh man, I never thought about this. 5 would be damn, it would have to be between Mike Epps or D. Ray Davis.
Okay.
Yeah. Who would your top 5? Or
Um,
5? Give me 5 that are
5?
alive. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Dale Jones.
Okay.
I'll still go with Seinfeld.
I worked with Dale at Funny Side
Yeah,
before.
great dude, just hysterical.
Uh-huh.
You sit back and laugh. Kevin James, I thought was really good as a comedian.
Okay.
Eddie Murphy.
I forgot about Eddie. But
Eddie.
he stopped doing comedy.
I want him back.
He hasn't been back, so it's like I can't really count him.
When they teased that he might go back on tour, I was like, "Oh, please!"
I remember that.
Let it
like
go.
right when they was bringing out Coming to America Part 2.
Yeah. I don't know how many that was, but
3.
3. Damn it.
Oh well, if you put Kevin James, that was 4.
Yeah. And I'll go with Chris Rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Miss KC, you feel good enough to get your top 5?
I don't have a top 5.
Give me 5 comics that you like that's doing it right now.
Okay. Dave Chappelle is my absolute favorite comedian of all times. Kevin Hart's pretty good.
Okay.
What's Ashley Larry's name?
Donnell Rollins.
Oh, because he just did a skit that was probably one of the funniest things I've heard in a long. Like it was hilarious. It was like
you said he was hilarious when they was at
it was, and it was just the level of improv, you know. So I think he's really good. I'm trying to think of some women that's pretty funny.
2 more.
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe some more. She's okay.
Okay.
I'm not a Tiffany Haddish fan at all.
Neither am I.
Nope. Me too.
So,
not because of the shit that just came out. I'm just not. I just wasn't a fan.
I was never a big fan. Like I thought she was okay.
Yeah.
And then the stuff that came out now made me feel like that's why like you.
I got you.
Don't have it, but
yeah.
I don't know. I love Kevin Hart's business sense, and I love the things that he does. He's not funny stand up to me.
And
he's really not funny in any level, but he has like a comedic sense that works in movies and stuff. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like 4.
That'll work.
I don't listen to enough comedians to have a variety.
I know you don't.
I was a big Adele Givens fan growing up, though. I think
throw her on there because Adele is definitely funny.
Yeah, Adele Givens is hilarious.
Her and the short, light skin, kind of heavy set. What the fuck is her name? Always with Cat Williams. Why can't I think of her name right now? Timmy,
Lou Nell.
Lou Nell's fucking hilarious. Thea the Dial is fucking hilarious.
I worked with her so many times.
I worked with her too.
She was great.
I also like Wanda Sykes.
Wanda Sykes is funny too. Yes.
Yeah, she's funny.
Chelsea Handler is funny too.
I don't know who that is.
You probably won't. It's okay. I don't want to state the obvious and be like, oh, she's white, but
I mean, listen, that's not the only reason why I don't know.
I know that. That's not the only reason. She had her own TV show too, Chelsea lately. So, but I thought she was funny too. Before we go to break, Timmy, give me your top 5, man. Dead or alive?
Top 5 that are alive. Eddie Murphy, Dave Chappelle, D.L. Hughley, Cat Williams.
Mm-hmm. One more.
Eddie Griffin.
Oh, Eddie Griffin is hilarious. Definitely. All right, let's go ahead and take that sponsor break. Now we'll be back with more Just Therapy and more Michael Gershe, and we're going to get into his book, The Magic of Life, a son's story of hope after tragedy, grief, and a Speedo. That is a funny title, man. I didn't even know the Speedo was on there. He was talking about when we wore Speedos as a kid. That's fucking hilarious right there. But we'll be right back to you. Please don't go nowhere. We got more Just Therapy coming up to you. Timmy, take us to break, baby.
Primal Screen in Kent, Ohio. For all your screen printing and embroidery needs. Quality work, on time, fair prices. For more information, call 330-677-1766. Again, 330-677-1766. Or check us out online, primalscreenprinting.com. If you mention the podcast, you get 5% off. Peace.
Custom Design Aquariums, where we bring your aquatic dreams to life. With your help, using your imagination, together, we will turn your home or office into a peaceful getaway. For a free consultation, call 330-475-5181 or contact us by email at customdesignaqa@gmail.com. Once again, that is customdesignaqa@gmail.com. Mention this podcast and get 5% off. Ooh, wee! I love me some pizza, man. Timmy, I know you love pizza.
Man, I love pizza with every fiber of my being.
I know you do. And I got the best place that has pizza for you.
What place is that?
Twisted Tomato Pizzeria. They got 2 locations. Actually, they're about to add another one, a third one in Stowe. But the main 2 locations, they got one in Cuyahoga Falls at 1909 Bailey Road, Cuyahoga Falls. Their phone number is 330-928-2222. They also have one in downtown Akron, across the street from Rubber Duck Stadium at 325 South Main Street, Akron. Their phone number is 330-849-5707.
I think I've been to that one. They got the beer wall, don't they?
They got the beer wall. I like to describe it as the Dave and Buster's of beer. You go in there, you put money on the card, you walk up to the taps, you put the card on the taps and pour as much beer as your heart desires, man.
My heart desires a lot.
I know, man, but you got to drink responsibly. They also have wine and several different selections of epic beer, man. It's just good, man. It just, when it hits your lips, it's just so good.
So good.
Best part about it, they are the official sponsor of Just Therapy, the podcast. So when you ask for the owner, Brad Cover, and mention Just Therapy, you get a 10% discount.
That's a lot of money off. I'm
to
go,
man.
Have to call them.
Yeah, and the best part about it, they cater to what you want on your pizza. Because I know Miss KT, she is a vegan, and they made a vegan-esque pizza for her with the cauliflower crust, and it was good. I like mine with no cheese, and it was banging. It was just, bitch. It was just that good, man.
It's my pizza.
My pizza, damn it. And they got a good slogan too, man.
If it's pizza,
it's possible.
Twisted Tomato. It's KT. Twisted Tomato. Guess not.
Oh shit.
I couldn't tell if y'all were live or if that was like playing because it's not on my screen. So I'm like, this sounds like it was pre-recorded. Like, can I jump in?
The commercial sound that good, huh?
They do, they really do. I thought it was pre-recorded.
No, you know, we always do that one live.
I know, but I'm just telling you how
you said, wait, did they record this shit? Hold up, I missed something. Hold up. We usually do that, nigga. Oh shit, that is hilarious. Oh my goodness. Also throw the flyer up real quick. And as always, the second Monday in November, we are back. The 11-year anniversary of Suicide Prevention Fundraiser with myself, Sean Boyd, and friends. Monday, November 14th at the Funny Stop Comedy Club, 1757 State Road, Cuyahoga Falls. Streaming on Redline Radio, sponsored by Just Therapy, the podcast. Doors open at 6:30. Show starts at 7. $10 donation at the door, but all proceeds go to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Please come out, support. It's a great cause, and it's a great time. And we'll probably do some crazy, funny, fucked up news at the beginning, and go from there. We'll figure it out. But yeah, come on out. It's like I said, it's a great cause. Also, if you're in the Massillon area, this Friday, I will be at Crackpots Comedy Club in Massillon, Ohio, 14 Lincoln Way, Massillon, Ohio. Crackpots Comedy Club. 2 shows Friday, 8 and 10 p.m. Come fuck with your boy. Because I got a lot of shit I got to get off my chest. I got some new shit I'm fucking with. So come fuck with me. I see Nick Jaborden chimed in, my favorite saying, yo, and La Diamond chimed in as well. Thanks for joining us. And we are back, Miss KT. You want to do it? Come on, bring us back, girl.
Just another day on the couch, which is literally where I am, talking about all the problems of today. Welcome back, couchers.
I missed that. That's what's up. That's dope. All right. As you know, we're back. We're gonna get into more of Mike Gershe. He is an author, and he has a book called "The Magic of Life: A Son's Story of Hope After Tragedy, Grief, and a Speedo." Talk to me, man. What's going on with the book?
The book is something I never thought I would ever write. I know people are thinking, "Oh my God, he's literate too." It's who knew? The first time I ever worked with Greg Morton back in probably 95, 96, we were talking about our lives in the sound room. If you remember the old hilarities, you're at the nasty couch and you hit it.
Nope.
No, really. Nope. So
I only was there when it was the funny stuff.
Okay. So in the old club, we had a sound room and the door, and you just walk right out until the little runway, and then you hit the stage.
Okay.
And we're talking about our lives, and I told them about being a survivor of a drunk driving crash that killed my mother and nearly myself when I was 8 weeks old, and how I was raised by a Jamaican woman. He's like, man, you guys, he goes, you have like a really interesting life. You got to write a book. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, no, promise me to write this book. And he takes out his, he extends his hand, to shake on it. And the showroom manager is doing the announcement for the show. And so I'm starting to shake Greg's hand, and I'm not going to say I promise. And he's going through the thing. Greg's not letting go, and I should have been on stage like 30 seconds ago. And I go, I promise, and that was it. And it took me 20 years to write because I procrastinate and I like naps a lot. But Greg really allowed me to share my story. Even though it took 20 years. If I wrote it and finished it when I was 25, 26 years old, it would have been totally different than it is now.
Right.
I had to go on that journey of life, and sadly, lose my father, my aunt, 90 days apart in 2018, and lose my best friend, Big John, sadly, because he was a drunk driver, and he was in one car crash, hit a tree in someone's, house as he was being pulled over by the police.
Damn.
And he knew better. He knew my story for 15 years, and to go through that trauma and grief, if I wrote it, but way back when Greg told me to, totally different.
Right.
So it allowed me to share my story, Dolly's story. Dolly is originally from Jamaica. She was living in England at the time as one of the first policewomen in Scotland Yard, which made sense a whole lot later when she would kick my ass, And after the car crash in 1970, my grandmother put an ad in the newspaper for part-time help because, my dad was 30 years old. He had a 3-year-old and now an infant to, take care of. But the car crash was horrific because we were less than a mile away from our house at a red light. And the drunk driver, as our light turned green, the drunk driver plowed through the intersection and T-boned the car and hitting us on my side. So when the first responders arrived, they found my mom, my dad, my brother. They didn't find me at all. 10, 15 minutes goes by and someone found me sandwiched between the door and the dash of the car.
Damn.
We all went to the hospital. My brother didn't have a scratch on him. My dad had to get stitches on his face from the windshield hitting his face. My mom was taken into surgery. And as for me, nearly every bone in my body was broken. My skull was completely fractured from one side of my head to the other. I was life flighted to another hospital because my injuries were so severe. My aunt lost count of how many blood transfusions I received to stay alive. And so my dad was going through the moment of, hey, your son's touch and go. and your wife is fighting for her life. My mom died the morning afterwards, the morning of September 20th, due to her injuries. And as for for me, I had to go back to the hospital for months afterwards, make sure I didn't have any brain damage. And my friends would tell me that I'm fucked up, but I think I'm fine. Probably why I go into comedy, right? But I had to be put on a special board. The doctors had no idea if I was going to heal, but I grew up to be a competitive swimmer, as we talked about earlier. That's why comedy, and I think my dad supported me because he knew, well, I almost died.
Right.
We know life is short.
Yeah.
You may fail at comedy, but at least go for it. Right.
Yeah.
I dedicated my life as, when I was in high school, got involved with SAD back then. And I went, I don't want other families going through what we went through.
Right.
And that's when I finally took a stand, and I kind of worked towards that goal of being a speaker, preventing other families from going through it. So I've been speaking for like 26, 27 years too. High schools, colleges, military bases. I do a monthly program at the Stowe Court for DUI offenders. I've won this Thursday actually, and been doing it for almost 10 years. And it's been the most rewarding audience of my speaking career. As much as I loved military bases and doing it for the military, but if you could change a room of DUI offenders, you're not going to hit all of them. Right. But if you get a couple of them, and you notice that change in front of their eyes, because when they walk in, they go, this is bullshit. I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
But I started off doing stand-up. They don't expect that. And, if you make someone laugh, you could take them anywhere you want on that journey. And so when they hear my story, it hits them even harder, I think, because you make them laugh. You play around for a little bit, and they go, okay, now here it comes to you. And they don't expect it at all. And we were blessed, take a horrific situation of losing my mom, but we were blessed with this woman, Dolly, who she was visiting her sister in New York, and she hated Times Square. It was, Times Square of 1970, not like we have now.
Right.
Saw the ad my grandmother put in the newspaper for part-time help. Answered it, didn't show up. She said she blew it off. She said she couldn't find a ride to the house. And this is where fate comes into our lives, and how even the three of us, the four of us, whoever's listening, we're all connected now. Saw the ad a few months later, called, tried to play it off as a first-time caller, but my grandmother remembered her Jamaican accent.
Right.
Came to the house. When she was introduced to me in the crib, she put her fingers into the crib, and I latched onto him, and I smiled. And she said, this is where I need to be. This family needs me more than going back to Jamaica to be a nurse or whatever. And when she was introduced to my brother later on, my brother who was 3, my grandmother goes, hey, Jeff, this is Dolly. She's going to be looking after you and your brother. My brother looks at my father and goes, hey, Dad, we're big men. We don't need any help, right? She's here for the baby. But that's all I knew. She slept in my room as a crib. So it wasn't about color, creed, religion. I have a white Jewish family and a black Jamaican family. It was just, it's just one of those things. And I learned about unconditional love and compassion and the human spirit from her. And, I didn't learn to, hate people based on color or creed or religion. I was taught to hate people because they're fucking stupid, right? In the way it should be.
Right.
But, with Dolly being, 91 and being a part of my life for 52 years, Saturday's her birthday. Two days later is the anniversary of the car crash. You get the highs of the highs and the lows of the lows, but how blessed we are. And, if it wasn't for her, I kind of shudder to think how I would have turned out, me and my brother, because my dad was totally lost. In terms of that, he never got over that grief and that trauma. He passed away in January of 2018. So it was like 47 years later. And I saw that. And, as men, we don't talk about grief and trauma. We bottle up inside because it's manly until it almost kills us. And for me, it almost did, my grief and stuff, until I had to get help. And I thought about, I'd battled depression. Now that I was going back and talking about the book and sharing Dolly's story, and I was writing it, I was like, Dolly, I'm going to write a book. And she's like, don't use my name. Like, I go, what do you mean? Don't use your name.
They're going to find you.
You're part of this story.
Don't use my name, man.
And now you don't want anything to do with me after, raising me as your own flesh and blood and stuff. And to examine that and look how, swimming was a good outlet. Comedy was a good outlet. I didn't self-medicate, with drugs or ever through the depression. I found that creative process, and that's what did. I would hide behind my comedy, and you probably have too, with the trauma and grief, because we don't want to deal with those emotions.
Right.
But we have to, because, otherwise we're going to explode. And I look back at the times when I was writing the book about those times where I thought about suicide and doing it. I remember one time I was in my early 20s and life wasn't going well. And I was like, I wish I could hear my mother's voice and her, and all that stuff. And I went to bed thinking, oh, I'm going to jump off the 15th floor balcony the next day. I went, I'm a swimmer. I can do this shit. And she came to me in the dream and said, Michael, stop worrying about me. I'm fine. And she gave me a big old hug. And I woke up face down on the pillow like I was hugging her.
Wow.
And that was like, okay, my mom didn't sacrifice her life so I could end mine sooner.
Right.
So I think about those things as I get close, because in 2018, when my dad passed away and my aunt 90 days apart, there was 1 week where I wasn't going to see the end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a plan, I was going to do the Robin Williams thing. And I was in my office at work, and on the back of my door was a sweater. I was like, yeah, I'm going to use whatever it takes. And I put my head down on my desk, and I thought of my brother, and I thought of Dolly, and I went, I can't have them go back to the cemetery 3 times in 6 months.
Right.
Or my friends asking why I didn't reach out for help and all that stuff. And I had a friend that was a counselor, and I had lunch with her that day. And I went, later on, and I went home and I filled out the sheet of all the problems and all that stuff. I would have aced if it was a test.
Right.
The only thing I marked no on was, are you pregnant? And I went, well, and I was like, well, I could still write yes on this. Right? Here's my sheet, to turn in for the counselor. And I worked my ass off at it. And the first question my counselor said was, she goes, hey, let's talk about your mother's death and how that impacted all your relationships. And I was like, I'm here to talk about my dad and my aunt. She's like, oh no, we're not moving off the subject. And I was 47 years old before we really processed my mom's death and how that did impact all my relationships and the trauma and the grief. And
because it happened so early. Like,
I didn't know my mom.
There was no way you could remember.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you didn't know your mom.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So with relationships, starting out, I was doing comedy, early on. And so you're broke. I'm not dating. I'm looking to do gigs.
Right.
And then also I saw my father's pain. And I went, I never want to do that.
Right.
That bullshit. I'm not doing that. And after counseling all that stuff, I kind of regret, I wish it happened sooner, but everything, as in comedy, everything's timing, right?
Yeah. Everything is timing. Yeah.
So even with the book, I finished it after grief counseling. I was like, okay, it sucks because here's the ending towards the book is writing about the grief and the trauma of my dad's death, but at least he knew I was writing the book. So I was able to interview him in the hospital room over the phone. And for him it was hard to talk about. I remember December 19th 2012, I think he sent me and my brother an email saying even to that would have been my parents' 48th wedding anniversary, and even to that day still talking about my mom was still too hard for him. Never understood that until then, because you got to go talk about my mom. Just like, hey, just out of the blue.
Right.
Never realizing as a kid, all those type of things, how tough it was for him.
Did he ever get remarried?
He never got remarried, but him and Dolly formed a relationship.
Okay.
I don't know when that happened.
Okay.
In life, but for us, it was cool and it was normal. But everyone else is like, well, who's the black woman with 3 white people and all that stuff? Is that your maid, your housekeeper? It's like, no, that's just Dolly. That's all we knew.
Right.
It was more than those type of things, but it was, the 70s, not too far from civil rights. So that was those roles that people thought of. They never really understood that family dynamic unless you knew our family,
right?
About that. And, it was just a beautiful way to grow up and be in that environment in terms of loving, even though my dad couldn't always express those emotions.
Right.
And then I emulated that, bottled it all up inside, except for using humor.
Right.
Is that defense mechanism, making people laugh to hide that pain. And I don't know if it's true. And, what are your thoughts of comics or comedians to hide that pain? There's been research about it, but I don't know if it's true.
I mean, we hide it a lot, just being up on that stage, you force yourself to hide it. You know what I'm saying? You get into that rhythm is like, I'm up here having fun so I can forget what I have going on in my life and in my mind to make other people to forget, it's crazy because I think the first contest that I won, I think only contest I won, a good friend of mine passed away from a heart problem that I didn't even know he had. And the way I met him, he was like one of my weed dudes when I moved to the Cuyahoga Falls area. But we became friends. It was more than just, hey, I'm about to come buy some weed. No, it was more of, I'm gonna buy some weed. We gonna smoke, but we actually gonna talk about life as well. You know what I'm saying? So when he passed, that hit me hard. I was out in front of Now That's Class. That's where it was at, and I'm bawling my eyes out, and I'm like, I gotta go do this damn contest, and I really don't want to. Let me go in here and mask, wipe off my tears and mask the hurt on my face and my heart, and go up here and have some fun. And I actually won that contest. Blew my mind because it was fucked up. So of course, after drinking and winning the show and winning a couple of dollars, I get back to the car and I'm fucking balling again. You know what I'm saying? Because it didn't go anywhere, But we mask our pain so much. I mean, as some people know, some people don't know, for comedians or whatever, the suicide rate is very high. It's like top 5, of professions to commit suicide because of what we've went through, you know what I'm saying? Or what we have experienced in our life. That's what makes us funny. You hear a lot of people say they don't want to do therapy because they think they won't be as funny because of the pain that pushes and drives them to be funny.
Yeah, you know what? That pain's always there. It's just how we cope with it.
Yeah,
it's a part of me. And all those years I thought, well, the car crash defined me as a person. I learned it. Well, it's a part of me. It doesn't define me 100%.
Right.
And that was a good lesson to learn.
Right.
I don't. The therapy helped because it was like it wasn't medication because medication is only one part of it. Because like the problem was me. I had to fix myself. For all that stuff and. My therapist is like, are you willing to do this or that? I go, yeah, whatever's going to help me, I'm willing to do. Right. If you need to shock my balls, do that.
Damn.
Whatever it takes.
Don't shock my balls.
But luckily, you didn't get to that. That would have been pretty bad. But, it was like I couldn't go on living like that. And the humor was there. And, we know in the last couple of years, quite a few comedians have killed themselves. And not only that, because of the depression and stuff that they might be going through, but also that natural high when there's accidental overdoses. Because, once you're on stage for that minute or however long, that's the high you want to retain off stage. And you can't unless you're going to do something else, right?
Nope, not at all.
Yeah. Nope. So, I think that's part of it too. And then you're on the road, you're lonely, all those things that they say it's true. In country songs. Is out there, but it's also been my salvation, that humor that's kept me alive, for that. Without it, I don't know how I would have coped. I didn't turn to alcohol. The only time I turned to alcohol was I was a senior in college. I had shoulder surgery right beforehand, kind of rushed rehab, blew it out again, that first swim meet in Bowling Green. Damn. I was popping Vicodins and Budweiser like for a week. Thinking I'm just going to jump out of my second floor window at Ashland University because you're an athlete. No one trains us how to deal with life after sports. Right? It's always win, win, win. Never. And this is back in 91, 92. So mental health for athletes was never a thing until maybe the last 5-6 years, probably.
At least the last 5.
I was going down a dark road for that, and when I can't keep doing this myself anymore, with that. I mean, the Viking was going to run out eventually, right? But it was like.
Plus, your ass was gonna hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking them fucking pain meds.
So I was like, gosh, what else can I do? And thank God my grandfather got me into magic as a kid for that coping mechanism.
Right.
I would play my Star Wars toys. I would pretend I'm Spider-Man, but that humor as a kid was so addicting, and you didn't realize until I was older and how much that was my salvation, and still is at some point. So I think about. I have my mom's picture. I have a picture of my mom, my brother, myself. By my front door. It's the only picture I have of my mom. Okay. And my goal is like I'll make someone laugh and make a difference in someone's life every day, get home, and that's a good day for me. Okay. I try to simplify it. There's 2 little things I could do on a daily basis. And my mantra before my dad passed away was be a mom, be a son my mother would be proud of. Not perfect. I don't do it every day, but I try to. Right. Because you kind of live, you want your parents to be proud of you and vice versa. And I went, all right, this is what I could do to honor my mother and for her to inspire me to share my story. And, like when I have Thursday coming up, and it's the right around the anniversary, it's going to be emotional. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
But once you see those people in the audience, those DUI offenders, like you said, you get one of them.
Yeah.
Then that's all that matters.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I didn't know we shared the same month of our mom's dying.
Yeah.
Because Saturday it'll be 4 years that my mom passed away. Yeah. So I got that show Friday, but I know Saturday is gonna be like, I don't want to do shit. But that's
but you will all day until you get to the showroom, and you're gonna go, yeah, this is it. Yeah, you'll get that fire in your blood going, and, and you realize, this is what I'm meant to do.
Yeah. But then that next day when I don't have a show, it's
right,
like,
that high, right,
right, yeah. So it's like you try to, fill it with something, So how did you get past it? How did you get over it?
I learned coping skills. I think I don't think you ever get over it. I just think you learn how to cope with it. And I learned through counseling. I started hiking, so I love photography.
Okay.
So my dad was a photographer. That's how my parents met. My dad was a school photographer at NYU, and he was shooting a school dance.
Oh, he was like, let me do some freaky deaky pictures. I need a model.
And well, he was photographing.
The Playboy is coming out. Come on, I need a model.
In a way. Well, he was shooting a school dance, and the only person looking at him in the picture was my mom. And it's in the book. You'll see it. And he went up after words to find out who it was. So my dad really stalked my mom, in a way. So a good friend of mine who was a counselor back then, she goes, "Go get a camera, as you're hiking."
Right.
And I got away from it. My dad, my brother, we were all into it. We turned our bathroom in Miami into a dark room, a couple of summers. So it was always there. So photography is just another creative outlet, and so hiking, I find my happy places to go to, and sit and just find that inner peace, as much as possible. Is the one way to cope, and to let that anger out too. I mean, if you let the anger sit, it's just going to get worse and worse. So there's days I'm going to swear and cuss. And one thing I learned in counseling was taking bean bags and throwing it against the wall, let that anger out. I did that for my friend John. So I was so angry with him for so many years in terms of how dare he do this to me. He knew better, and he knew my story. And it wasn't until the 50th anniversary, I had to go back to counseling because I was just going down that dark road again, going, if I don't get help, I'm not here. And we did something.
Did you say the 5th anniversary?
The 50th anniversary.
50, okay.
in 2020. And I got to go back, otherwise I'm not going to live. And we did something called EMDR, which was really cool, sensory type of stuff. And I really focused on getting over John and going, man, that anger, it's just a waste of energy for me. It's why don't you just rechannel that into something better? Not to say I'm not always, there's once while I'm still pissed at John.
Right.
I'm angry at the man that killed my mother. That's never going to go away. It's just how do you cope with that and how to manifest that into positive energy.
Right.
So those are the tools I kind of learned how to do. Versus always, depression is that warm blanket you take out of the dryer right away and you just wrap yourself up and going, oh, this feels so good. But you stay in it too long, it's not a good feeling. And I know when my levels drop, and then you kind of go, okay, I'm in trouble. Let me go talk to a friend. I'm not shy about that anymore. And it's been freeing. Writing the book was freeing of all those emotions. And especially as a guy, men, we don't want to speak up. And it's amazing when you share your story and someone else goes, oh, I'm not alone anymore. That's one of the best feelings about sharing my story about depression or grief or trauma. Because, we both know there's other people that are out there in the street who are going through shit and they feel all alone. But as soon as you go, this is what I'm going through, someone else will go, you know what? I've been through the same thing. And then it's like the strength in numbers, for that. And that's been the powerful thing. I was scared shitless to publish the book because I had family members who go, we thought you were always fine. I was a kid, of course, it's just one of those things. And as you get older, I swam angry in college.
Right.
I was angry at my dad for never talking about my mom. I was angry at Harvey Dennison for killing my mom. I was angry at God, all those type of things. And swimming was a good outlet, and then when I had to stop swimming, I go, now what do you do? Right. But I'll, always went back to humor, making people laugh on stage or off. And that always felt good.
Right. Miss KT, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
So a couple questions that I had. So my father passed away last November,
I'm
and he
sorry.
has two
Huh.
young children. Um, they are 12 and 13, and they live in California. And so I let them come and stay with me. These are my sisters. They're younger than my own children. My youngest son is 19. But I let them come stay with me. And so they were asking me questions about our dad passing. Like, how did I know? How did he die? You know, these types of things where the people in their lives aren't honest with them. So I didn't want to tell them that he passed away from drugs, but I also didn't want to lie to them because I feel like they need to know the truth at some point. And so it's just really hard trying to figure out, you know, a good way to help them deal without giving them too much too early, but also being there for them. So do you have any advice for that?
Yeah, I think I would probably share stories of in that good light, let them know how wonderful of a person he was as a father, as and probably share those stories, if kind, loving person, and let them talk about their feelings. And I think probably the best thing is to ask them how they're feeling, towards everything. And let them talk, or just sit with them. Sometimes they don't want to talk. They just want someone next to them to feel that love and know that everything's going to be okay, eventually in terms of that time frame. But I think, share stories and, ask them how they're doing, and, encourage them to share their feelings, because, especially at that age where, Sean was talking about, TikTok before, in terms of social media and all those things that they feel, especially at that age. Um, to let them know that they're not alone, and that you're someone who's safe, that they can always talk to. I think, they need that encouragement. I never really had that, growing up. I didn't think I had that. So I think knowing that they have you is a beautiful thing.
Thank you for that. Do you think I should be honest with them about his passing, or because I just kind of left it as like a general statement? But because he dealt with addiction, I want them to know that they are more susceptible to addiction, and I don't want them to, go down the wrong path because they aren't aware.
Right. I think you can. I mean, especially how you just phrase it with addiction, and how it is, and how they are, just as you said, susceptible to it, in terms of the future. And I think, knowing that is, I know people who've been, children of alcoholics, and they go one or two ways, right? They follow the same path as the parents, or they go the opposite way and never drink at all. And I think, give them that information, and that type of way of, your father battled, to addiction. I think that's okay to do. And I think they should know that, because like for me, I went in that path of honoring my mom, making sure it never happens again. If you tell them, that could impact them in terms of a career of, working towards addiction, help. And that's pretty powerful. I mean, our parents are our role models for good or bad. And I think, that could be a pivotal part in terms of their life, and because you don't want that to happen to them, just as you said. So I think, letting them know in terms of the right way can save and change their lives.
All right. Last thing about that. Um, it's hard for me to know if I've really processed. I mean, I don't know. It's like you can't really process, right? Like I know my dad is gone, but I feel like, because life just keeps going. And so it's very difficult to know what level you're on. Because sometimes I feel perfectly fine. And then sometimes, like you said, I get my depression blanket and I curl up in the ball and I enjoy it until I feel like, okay, now you're letting it take you too far under, I call it riding the wave of grief. And
Yes.
sometimes I let it take me under. And then sometimes I'm like, all right, girl, fight your way back to the top. But it's hard to know, like a good balance or what I should be doing with that, you know?
Yeah, they always say, grief is like riding those waves. We're gonna have our good days or bad days, and the holy shit, we're not gonna get out of bed days. And you have those, and it's okay to accept those days. Let those days come because it's gonna be temporary, and then you try to find something that makes you happy. For me, going to a park is my escapism, or doing photography, or or riding on my bike or exercise. So I would say, when you feel that way, try to, do something for yourself that's going to bring you a little bit of joy. Even if it's, for a few minutes. The other thing you could do is what I did and what I learned was having grief appointments. So, once a day I would set my timer like for 10 minutes, and I would scream, shout, cry, hit things, whatever it is, and have my grief moment during that time. Let all those emotions out, and then because we need that release, keeping it all to yourself, when we get to those lows of lows, that's the dangerous part right there. And it allowed me to get those emotions out. Sometimes I had those emotions when I was driving to work and I'm crying my eyes out, but it still felt good. So I think, when we get to that part where we feel so low, it's okay to feel that low as long as we come out of it, but also try to find, something you enjoy and that's just for you. And I think that helps with a little bit of balance.
I definitely like that idea of a grief appointment. It's like you give yourself time and permission to get those feelings out so that they don't overwhelm you or take over or, kind of be so heavy that you do something out of control. So I like that idea. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. See, and I'm glad those are the things that we're talking about, how to, cope with it. Yeah. It's those type of coping skills I never had before.
Right.
So you just let the depression fester you and get to you. And then, but if we know how to cope or some tools, that definitely helps. The other thing was good was writing letters.
Okay.
Write a letter to my dad. I wrote a letter to Harvey Dennison. I mean, there was a lot of swearing in that one.
Right.
Angry writing. And, you write it all out, all those emotions, whatever you want, you put it in an envelope, and then sooner or later if you have like a bonfire or whatever, you burn it and let it go. I haven't burned them. I don't even know where they are anymore. But that's nice because then, in a way you're writing a letter to your dad,
right?
An update or whatever it is, like you're at summer camp, and you're writing to him. And I think that's a healthy outlet to do too.
I like that. I think I might do that on Saturday.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Write a letter to your mom, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely. Miss KT, anything else? You got any other questions about the book?
No, but I really like, that we're having this conversation. I feel like a lot of people don't know what to do, and most people don't know how to help, So right. I feel like the more conversations you can have about strategies, because death is the one part of life that's for certain that we all try and, ignore until, until it happens. Yeah. And then it's like you're stuck dealing with it. But it's like the biggest part of life. Like, it's going to occur. So you can't keep acting like, it's not something that needs to be dealt with. Mm-hmm. And with a lot of my students, they've dealt with a lot of death and a lot of trauma. And, when you try and just ignore it and pretend like, they're supposed to just go on without any coping strategies, it just feels so unrealistic to me. Like, it's like we wear these blinders where we don't understand how much of a part of life this is.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I mean, especially around that age where it's never been talked about. And again, I learned through trauma, I read this book called What Happened to Me, by Oprah. And I'm not a huge fan of Oprah, but I was in a book club. Don't judge. And, I know. Thanks. And it was really good because you learn your parents' trauma trickles down to you and so forth and so far. And it started for me to understand my own trauma and how to get through it and whatnot. And I think you're right, because if we ignore it like I did for so long, or my dad did, it gets worse and worse. And then you have a death. It's like, how do you cope? Mm-hmm. This in February, I lost 3 people within 4 days. We lost Sandy, Sean and I, who was a server at the comedy club, through cancer. I lost Big John's mom, and then I lost probation officer at the Stoke Court who I knew for 9 years, a big supporter, all three with cancer, all within 4 days. So that was tough. And one of them is tough, as you know. And I went back to my grief counseling and what I learned. I had those grief appointments. I threw the big bags. I made sure I went out to my happy place and along the river in Cascade Falls, or to a park or whatever it was. Went to that. So it's nice knowing, having those tools, in your back pocket. All you need is one that you really enjoy that's going to help you for that little bit of time.
Yeah. February is a hard month for me too. Just especially like losing Sandy, and then my dad's birthday, my parents' anniversary, the second marriage that failed, what I'm saying, was in between my dad's birthday and my parents' anniversary. It was like, fuck, like that. Well, vice versa. My parents' anniversary, then dad's birthday. But yeah, man, it's like, it sucks. And I don't even think I have a happy place besides the stage.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah.
You have that.
Cause like that's literally probably my only happy place.
Right. Yeah. You don't want a Pee Wee Herman happy place, so you get arrested for that.
No, definitely.
Yeah, you don't want those.
In the movie theater jacket.
But I mean, even like a baseball. What about like a baseball field? Just to go and sit. You have all those memories. I mean, something that brings you joy.
Yeah.
That's okay. For that, and even for Lakeisha, let me know her address. I'll send her a book too.
Yeah. Do you got one with you?
No, just that one.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you only told me to bring one. That was it. But I could get her a book.
I definitely would appreciate that,
because it's just not my story. It's Dolly's story. It's very fascinating when people go, how, what happened, and to share her story, but all through the trauma and grief. I think it's the eyes of a child, a teenager, a young adult, and then someone of an adult at 47 years old.
Right.
When the rabbi goes, hey, you and your brother are now orphans. And I'm like, well, what about Dolly? She's still like our mom. Right. But he wasn't counting that. And I was like, I almost wanted to fight with him going, I'm not an orphan yet. I still have her, as her mom. Yeah. But it's interesting, to go back to, what you were saying, about your loved ones, being you said they're like 12, 19, as kids.
12 and 13.
12 and 13, how to process that.
Sister kids.
Okay. Yeah. How to process that as kids, you don't. And I think we're desensitized a little bit more due to TikTok and things on the web and everything else, and how to cope. Our social skills aren't anymore improved as kids and stuff, because it's all at the fingertips and so forth. So, having that down to earth talk with them is so important. But yeah, I'll in my book, for anyone listening, it's on Amazon.com. They can find it there. Yeah,
definitely check out the book. It is called The Magic of Life, a son's story of hope after tragedy, grief, and a Speedo, by Michael Gershe. What is the M.Ed? What is it?
Oh, well, I have a master's of arts and education. So
okay.
So someone told me to put that on there because it looks even better. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
They do.
Yeah.
And almost like you look like a doctor.
Yeah. What's great about that is when Greg read it, when I finished writing the manuscript, me and Greg Morton working together, and it was really cool to look him in the eye and go, all these years, I finished the freaking promise to you.
Right.
But when he read it, he goes, in one line you made me laugh, the next line you made me cry. And for it to help people that I don't even know through their trauma and grief, it's amazing. And I always tell people, share your story, because you never know who you get impacted in a positive way, because we all have awesome stories to share.
Yeah, that's true, because a lot of people told me to write a book, and it's like, I want to. I need to just get to it. Because I got a lot of shit.
And you write too, it's like writing a joke. You write until you're done, right?
I mean, I don't write jokes anymore. They just come to me, but
all right. In theory, you know what the hell I meant.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Damn it.
No, I know what you meant.
I got a question for you. With the alcohol, I did hear you say you had a Bud Light. But how long did you fight off even touching it or looking at it before?
Well, I don't mind drinking. In terms of when?
I guess once you got older, because I would imagine, being, your family going through that because of a drunk driver. I can imagine you not wanting to even look at anybody that drinks alcohol.
Yeah, I don't, I'm not against the use of alcohol. I am against it if it harms you or other people. I've been a Dolphins fan for a really long time. So, if I drank during a football game, I would be, in trouble. A lot of hurt, Browns fans know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
right.
Don't laugh too hard.
I always love when Bud Light said when the Browns finally win a game, we'll give you free Bud Light. I went, really? That's like the shittiest beer. You couldn't give you something, guys, a little bit better of a beer for victory.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not against the use of alcohol. It's just, I don't mind having a glass of wine from time to time or whatever. It's just when it harms other people and obviously, impaired driving, it has to stop. There's no reason why you have to. I mean, you have a designated driver. I don't believe in Uber or Lyft because there's been sexual assault, robberies. It happens.
Yeah.
As parents, what do you tell your kids about getting in the cars with strangers? Don't do it. Strangers, and we're fucked up.
Yeah.
Having a DD is great because, and take turns. Like the three of us are going out. Say it's Sean's turn to be the designated driver, and we take turns.
Yeah.
And
I'm only having two. I'll be good.
Yeah, and being right. Because everyone says, and being a DD is great because you could
no liquor.
Yeah, because being a DD is awesome because you could drop your drunk friends off the wrong house and try to watch them get to that house, right? Make sure
a good DD if you're going to get your friends into breaking the entering church.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, and record it because they're going to need it for the court the court case.
Listen, they're definitely coming in no matter whose house it is. That all they know is they need to lay down somewhere. So.
Yeah, and we know your history of breaking and entering already. So
whoa.
Love it.
See, I was paying attention. Hey kids, this is
what we call about the stories I share with you.
Right. What'd you say, KT?
I got to be careful about the stories I share with Mike.
I already know what I'm going to write in your book as a personal message, so it's already there. I try to personalize them, but
that's hilarious.
Yeah, you can have that's the humor. We'd been through, but yeah, it's very interesting because people always, ask that if I drink. Oh yeah, I don't mind. Mm-hmm. We had a full liquor cabinet growing up. We never drank. My dad never drank. Growing up in high school, it's like just call. If you need a ride. Yeah. He never would hear the phone because he was sleeping in his lazy boy chair. He never heard anything.
Right.
After Archie Bunker, he was out cold. But yeah, it's just take turns and the bar for Big John, he was leaving his third bar that night.
Damn.
And he started off at the Winking Lizard on Detroit Avenue, went to another bar I'm not too sure, ended up Johnny Malloy's also in Detroit that's no longer there. And when he was leaving that third bar, they didn't try to stop him or stop serving him. It was another customer who saw John stumble to his truck who called the police. They cared more about him than the people who were serving him.
Wow.
And that that anger
but it still happened.
It still happened. Yeah. Mm. And before I left, a friend of mine sent me a message, very nice message, because there's days where you want to stop talking and go, how much good am I actually doing?
Yeah.
Because it gets frustrating. And he said, continue doing what you're doing. And he sent me, it was a beautiful message. I go, thank you. I needed that because it's tough at times because you got to go, how good of a job am I doing after 20-something years in the lives? Because it does get frustrating because you read articles about people dying every week, doing drunk driving and this, but then you kind of go, these are lives who are in front of me that I have to change. And it's purpose. We all have that purpose. And, this is mine.
Man. Gershe, man. And I said I didn't want to just talk all about the book, but I was like, fuck it, I gave it.
I know. I was like, what else?
One of the episodes that needed to happen, man. That's what we do on Just Therapy.
Right.
We have, conversations sometimes that you have to have, that you don't want to have, but we gotta have it, man.
Right.
Definitely gotta have it. Yes, definitely. Miss KT, any other questions before we go to our favorite topic before we get up out of here?
No, I don't have any more questions.
All right, on to our favorite topic. What's that, Miss KT?
Crazy,
funny,
fucked up
news. Yeah. All right, this one's I picked this one because this is funny. It's going to be a slight game edition as well. All right, here we go. Revenge plot North Carolina woman allegedly sets wrong house on fire over ex-boyfriend.
Oh my gosh. People are crazy.
Right. Rowan County, North Carolina. Carolina woman allegedly set fire to the wrong house while seeking revenge on her ex-boyfriend. County Sheriff's Office said Christy Jones set the house on fire, stole the homeowner's dog, and damaged an above-ground pool. Investigators even think Jones went so far as to block the water hose so the homeowner could not use it to slow the spread of the fire. The homeowner discovered this extra devious step when they went to use the garden hose on the fire and found it blocked with a sealant. Authorities said one of the homeowners saw Jones, who did not know, with his dog and confronted her after she had started the fire. As he tried to stop her from leaving the scene, Jones brushed past him in her car. Investigators said they eventually found the dog and were able to put the fire out before any serious damage happened. The home suffered some damages.
I would say so.
How mad can you be to set a house on fire you thinking your ex-boyfriend staying, and then it come out to be the wrong motherfucking house? She should have tried your coping skills, man.
She was so mad she was stupid.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
It's like she was driving, following him, but she was crying, so she couldn't tell which house he went into for sure. So she just picked one. Like she was too distraught.
Too distraught. Shit, she burned the wrong house down.
She'll learn some coping skills in prison. That's what she'll learn them.
Definitely. And learn how
or
to
at least how to set better fires or something. I don't know.
Better fires? Well, no, just reading the fucking address.
I mean, was it like 896 and she went to 869? Like, what was it? Maybe she's dyslexic.
Right.
Oh, shit. That's hilarious.
That's a bad way to find out.
She wastes all that good lighter fluid on the wrong house.
Reading is important after all.
It's fundamental.
Yeah.
Just imagine the ex-boyfriend coming out 2 doors down like, damn, it's a fire? Wait. Is that crazy bitch I just broke?
Hey, he probably lived across the street. He probably the one called the police. Like, that crazy bitch outside.
That crazy bitch outside.
Like, what was that on Friday?
I was about to say, he was like, yeah, next Friday. That crazy bitch outside there.
Right.
Oh shit. Oh gosh, that's funny as hell. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine? He was like, that's that crazy bitch. She told me she was bipolar, but she didn't say she was that fucking crazy.
Listen, that's why he didn't give her the right address on purpose.
He was like, I don't want this bitch knowing where I live at. Shit.
Yeah. So he probably gave her the wrong address on purpose. And then he because I can just walk a couple houses down. She ain't gonna know the difference.
Yep. Anytime he brung her over, she was probably too inebriated, so she wasn't gonna remember exactly what house. Make sure she get the fuck out before the sunset come up.
He probably just parked in the back. You know, some of them neighborhoods, all the backyards look the same.
You right.
Exactly right.
You bring them through the back, they don't know which one is which in the daylight. That's really horrible, though. Like, imagine you and your wife in there and somebody set your house on fire, screaming you a cheating, lying son of a, and your wife like, what in the world?
Like, were you cheating, motherfucker? Like, no, baby, I don't know what the fuck going on. No, she said you was a cheating, lying bitch. And our house.
So you saying she set our house on fire for nothing? Like that man is guilty until proven innocent, because ain't no way she gonna believe him.
What if he was really cheating and that's how the wife found out that he was cheating because he had to fess up? Was like, but that ain't the bitch I'm cheating with, baby.
My bitch wouldn't do this. So horrible.
She knows she only get the day after Valentine's Day, not the Valentine's Day. Oh shit. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. Y'all ready for that?
She set a whole house on fire.
A whole and then wait. But then block the fucking garden hose though, put sealant in it so it wouldn't work. Like who thinks of that? Like I want this motherfucker to die and burn. So I'm gonna put sealant in the garden hose so he can't use that to try to stop the spread of the fucking fire. Who does that?
That's definitely extreme. That's some super premeditated. Like you took the time to put sealant in the hose. You did that before you put the gas all around the house. Like that was your first step.
That's worse than the boiled rabbit and Fatal Attraction right there. That's even worse.
Yeah, like she really wanted everybody to die and the house to burn to the ground.
Everybody. I think that's worse than beating yourself up with grapefruit and shit.
But she was really in the hardware store like, hey, do you have any sealant so I can block a hose? Like, what do I use for that?
Yeah,
it's got to be a waterproof sealant. Like, what in
right.
the world?
Oh, that's how 5, ma'am.
You ordered some Flex Seal off Amazon.
Flex Seal works underwater.
She gave it a 5-star rating.
She definitely did.
She paid extra for same day delivery. While she was ready.
Oh shit, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
And even worse, she got it sent to the address that she was going to burn down.
So I can feel the porch when she get there.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious. Y'all ready for game edition? I got 2 questions for y'all. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. How old was Christy Jones? How old was Christy Jones? Couchers, you can tune in to this too. How old was Christy Jones?
27.
Timmy say 27. Gershe, what you say?
30.
Gershe say 30. KT, what you say?
I don't know. I'm torn between somebody young and stupid, like 35, and somebody old and senile, like 50.
Shit, I'm 52. Wait a second.
Which one you going
Oh, I'm
with?
sorry, Mike. I meant 52.
Oh shit!
A little payback for listening too closely to my story.
Listening too close.
Hey, a woman should be happy a guy's listening to her. I mean, come on.
That's true. That is true.
A change of pace. Yeah, you're right about that.
All right.
Oh, that was good.
Timmy say 27. Gershe, you said 30, right?
Yep.
Okay. KT, what you going with?
52.
52. All right. None of you are correct. Christy Jones was 49. So Miss KT, you was the closest. If you were to stick with
she had to be older or something like too much.
Right. All right. Last question. How much damage did she do to the home? The wrong home she burnt up. How much? How much? How much damage did she do to the home? Dollar amount. How much? Timmy, what do you say?
So the above ground pool, maybe like $300.
Okay.
Damn it.
That's a Walmart pool.
Right.
I was about to say, boy, were you at Walmart?
Something like that. I've seen a couple in the hood. I know that's where they got it. Well, I say $300 worth of damage. They can fix it. And then I feel like she probably failed at actually burning the house. So I'm gonna say it's probably still got to be something high. So like $8,000.
$8,000. All right, $8,000 from Timmy. Gershe, what do you think?
Oh, for the house and the pool, I'm gonna go. She did $130,000.
All right, $130,000. Miss KT, where you going?
I'm gonna split the difference a little bit. I'm gonna say about $75,000 worth of damage.
All right, none of you are correct. If we got to do closest, Timmy, you were the closest at $20,000 in damage.
So it sounded like she didn't mess up nothing but the garden hose and the pool.
No, Burn holes in the pool. That's it.
Yeah.
With 20,000.
Just kidding.
The back wall in the kitchen. You know, kitchens cost a lot. So. Oh shit, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Gershe, man. Hey, thanks for coming to the show, man.
Thank you for having me. This has been awesome. It's been a blast, man. I appreciate the opportunity to share my story, but also, some heavier subjects.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you being here. I know we had fun. A lot of useful information. Definitely some of the coping skills and giving yourself time to grieve but get out of it, and then that happy place, man. Got to find that happy place to help yourself out, man. That's good info, man. Give out your social medias and tell them one more time where they can find the book.
They can find it on Amazon. Even if you go to my website, www.themagicoflife.org, you can find a link there. You can find all my links to Facebook, on Instagram. It's GERSHEPIX. Because I started just for photography on that one. On Facebook, Michael Gershe. You can find me on that one, GERSHE. And come stalk me. It's fun. I'll be back at the Funny Stop actually October 13th and 14th with Greg Morton. Actually,
hey, all right.
Me and Greg will be back. So come check out the show. Check out Sean's funny shows coming up this weekend too.
Yeah, man. I'll be out and around. Miss KT _comedy on TikTok. Any other ones you want to give out?
Nope. I don't even know that one.
Yeah, I know. I know it. I'm so used to saying it. So, I know it now. Like it's my own. My social medias, you can find me on Facebook under Sean Boyd. And if you're not from Ohio, put in Sean Boyd, Ohio. It'll be a picture of me and Lil Mama. If you want to find me on Instagram, it's SB Comedy. TikTok is SB Comedy 1. You can find me in Massillon this Friday, 8 and 10 o'clock shows at Crackpots Comedy Club, Massillon, Ohio, 14 Leakin Way. But you can reach out to the podcast as well at Just Therapy, the podcast on Facebook. You can also email us with your hate mail, questions, or concerns at justtherapypod@gmail.com. So make sure you check us out. But once again, it is that time of the show where we give you the close, something you can ponder on until the next time you see us on Redline Media LLC. Is that right? Or Redline Radio Media? Redline Media. What the fuck is it?
Redline Media Group.
Okay, we're at Redline Media Group on YouTube. They changed it, but Redline Radio LLC on all other social media platforms. Or until the next time you hear us again on Spotify under Just Therapy. Make sure you check out the old episodes. But here is your close. I'm going to let Gershe and KT break it down. And of course, you know how I do. It is fitting with what we talked about today. So here's your close, something you can ponder on until the next time. Trauma teaches you to close your heart and armor up, but healing teaches you to open your heart and boundary up. I thought that was fitting for what we were going to talk about today. One more time. Trauma teaches you to close your heart and armor up, but healing teaches you to open your heart and boundary up. Who want to break that down first? Gershe, you want to
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
It's just, I think with boundary up, to face your fear with it and don't be afraid to notice what's going on with your grief and your trauma. And when you boundary up with it, I think you survive it.
All right. Miss KT, how you gonna break that down?
I just feel like in this life, right, we're always going to have experiences, and many of them you can't control, but you can control how you react to it. So you want to be able to make sure you are always in a space that allows you to always be your best self. Even when you're hurting, you just always want to protect your own peace, because at the end of the day, you have to be okay with you. And so just make sure you have boundaries set and ways to release in order to protect your peace.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Real quick, Nick Jabor said happy birthday, Gershe.
Yeah, saw that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Nick. It's not my birthday, but we do that to each other every time we see each other.
Oh, you assholes.
It's a good inside joke.
Nick's birthday's in March.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
All right. Timmy, good job behind the board as always. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
Miss KT, thank you for being back. I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better and got back to work, but we definitely missed you.
We missed you, Miss KT.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's good to be back. Tim, I think I missed you more. No, just kidding.
That's y'all second one right there. Waited to the end.
We could change that.
No.
I need something to make me feel better.
All right, that's enough. Gershe, thanks again for coming to the show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Definitely enjoyed having you here, man.
Me too.
Oh shit!
Thank you. Thanks, Mike, for all of the advice. I appreciate it. I can't wait to get your book so I can read it.
Okay.
I already sent him the address and your name, so it should be in the mail tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
Gershe?
I can do that.
If not, I'll just go by and pick it up and bring it to you. Either way, Miss KT, anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
Nope.
All right. Catch me at Crackpots Comedy Club Friday. Other than that, thank you so much. We love you, Couchers. We'll see you next time. God willing. Timmy, send us home, baby.
Peace.